Hello there. Good evening, everybody. Want to welcome you all here to the Prague Monster. My name is Murph, and I am the host of this show. So, sorry for the bit of the delay here. It's always the same, If I try to go online um, when it's not busy or everything's good, or I go early, then it's easy. And if I try to go online and I'm getting close to the line, it takes forever. Anyways, we're here tonight with the topic. I guess this is an inaugural show for this thing. This is called Rock Topics. And I've chosen to start out with the Canadian bands and artists. So the reason I chose the Canadian bands and artists for the first topic is because I just got a collection of Guess Who albums that I bought in a box set. And so I thought, you know what, I'll just do a Canadian rock bands and artists show. And so that's what we're doing tonight. I'm just going to move this over slightly because it makes me feel like I'm twisting my head the other way. Okay. So I'm just basically going to go through the Canadian bands that I have, and I'll also talk about some of the ones I don't have and why I don't have them as well. And if you got anything you want to say, you're more than welcome to do so. Pop-ups drive me mental sometimes. Okay, so the first one we're going to start with is this band, Sheepdogs. And I just bought this recently. It's a studio album, their most recent one. I quite like these guys. They're pretty good. For a modern band, I like them. They got that kind of Western flavor to their music. It's kind of upbeat. It's poppy for sure, but it's got an upbeat feel to it. I kind of like the album cover a little bit as well. And then you've got, here's a picture of the guys. I'll just open it up. Here's the back cover. And then, of course, we got the inside cover too, which lists everybody in the band. You've got, this tried to fly out there. That's the only thing about these cardboard ones. I'm not crazy about the discs fly out all the time. So there's Ewan Curry, lead vocals, guitars, additional keyboards, and percussion. Seamus Curry, piano, organ, synthesizer, clavinet, trombone, lead vocals on tracks 9, backing vocals the rest of the time. Ryan Cullen, I think it's Cullen. Bass, pedal steel, and backing vocals, and Ricky Paquette on lead guitar, slide guitar, and backing vocals as well. So nice shot of them there again, like I said. So it's a new band to me, but I quite like them. Bought it when I did a video called What's New, and they were this album was one of the topics of that particular video. And overall, pretty strong start for me with them. So that's the first one, Sheepdogs. Probably going to move into some audio of these here first. So we got these guys, the Bare Naked Ladies. This is album is Stunt, but they have a couple of songs I kind of like about them. They're kind of a weird kind of poppy band. I don't listen to them much, but I do like a few things from them. So I thought, them being Canadian, you really got to kind of bring them up. A lot of people like these guys. Some people don't like these guys, but I'm not one of those. This album's actually from 1998. So they've been around for a while. Kind of, like I said, kind of a poppy band. A little bit on the quirky side, though. So Bare Naked Ladies, that's the number 2 one. Next is another Canadian band that maybe doesn't get much attention at all. This is Priestess. They've only got 2 albums, and I have one of them twice for some reason. I'm not sure why I have it twice, but I do. Pretty heavy. I would call this a metal band for sure. I'm not quite sure where these guys are from. Let's see if it says anything. No, it doesn't say anything. They are Canadian, of course. I think they might be from Quebec. I have this feeling they're from Quebec. Anyways, it's quite a nice cover. It's kind of decent. and I've listened to it a few times, like both copies. I've listened to them. Pretty strong, pretty heavy, pretty metalish. Priestess. Next up, we have a band that's very familiar to most people and one of the big bands in Canadian rock history. We're talking about Triumph. I chose this album tonight, Allied Forces. Not because I think it's necessarily their best, but I think it's their most well known, probably their biggest album. Got The Magic Power on here. That's probably the big song. And then Fight the Good Fight, which I think is kind of the most longevity song on this album for sure. They've got a lot of quite well-known songs: "Lay It on the Line," "Hold On," "Magic Power." Yeah, pretty strong band. If I was going to say who are the most prominent bands in rock history, I think these guys are probably in the top in Canadian rock history. Sorry, I would think these guys are probably top 5 for sure. They're the top 10 band in Canada. Triumph. Next up, this is the Tea Party. I like this album a lot. I never really warmed to the rest of the stuff though. I got this album first. I liked it a lot, and they kind of took off for me. And then I have 3 more of their albums, and I just never got into the other albums. So they kind of hit a wall, and just never really kind of took it up again. And I kind of think of this band as definitely as a rock band, kind of a hard rock band in some ways, but they definitely have that Indian sound to their music, that Eastern sound to them. Lots of that going on here. I actually kind of like that quite a bit. So Tea Party, Edge of Twilight is one of their albums. They've got, I think, 11 in total. Now, I believe this band is from the West, but I could be wrong. The impression I got was that they were from out West. Doesn't really say, though. Anybody knows, I'm sure they can put that in the comment section. So that's my my next band up. So next up, we're going to go with a band I like a lot, and I like this particular album. I have a few albums by them, but I like this one quite a bit as well. This is the Stampeders, Carrying On. There's a picture of them at the back here. Another Western band. I think of these guys as a kind of a pop hard rock band. Not really a hard rock band, but definitely a pop band with a lot of interesting tracks on their albums. This one has Wild Eyes on it, which is one of their bigger hits. Sweet City Woman is the one that I like the best. It's an absolute classic for me. But I believe at least 2 of the guys sing. The guitar player and the drummer sing. This album in particular is from 1971. So the band's from the early 70s, got that really Western flavor to their music, but very poppy. Highly recommend them if you haven't had a chance to listen to them. They're fantastic. Next up, we have Rush, arguably the greatest Canadian rock band in history. They're my favorite, so I'm a bit partial to that. I love just about everything they've done. There is a period of time where I'm not as fond of them as I wished I was during that time period, but lots of really good stuff. Probably the best instrumental band in Canadian history. Not saying that they play only instrumental, but musically talented, instrumentally gifted, and just a super band. 3 guys making all this noise. Wonderful stuff. This is one of my most listened to albums by them, and especially side 1, which has A Farewell to Kings and Xanadu, probably the most listened side of any album in my history. It's great. I love the cover. Now there's a new cover out too, but still kind of like this one. Yeah, Rush. Possibly the greatest rock band in Canadian history for sure. Next up is a guy who passed away not so long ago. A lot of people most channels don't really talk about him. and it's Gordon Lightfoot. I think of Gordon Lightfoot as a folk rock singer. That's the way I see him. I mean, maybe you see him as more of a country singer. I don't know. I don't think of him as a country singer at all. To me, he's just basically a pop folk idol. Lots of really good stuff by him. Songs that Ribbon of Darkness is on this one. Um, That's What She Gets for Loving Me is on here as well. Bitter Green, I like that. Sundown, probably one of his best tracks for sure. The Edmund Fitzgerald is not actually on this particular one, but to me, it's probably my favorite song by him. I love his voice. He's got a really kind of a mellow voice, but it's very distinctive at the same time. Had a lot of big hits back in the 70s and just passed away recently in like the last 5 years or so. So Gordon Lightfoot from Canada as well. Next up, we have a band that I like a lot and been listening my way through their entire discography. I'm on the second album now. It's done really well. This is the Klaatu. I've got two of these, two albums with two albums on them. Two CDs with two albums on each of them. This was Sir Army Sweet and Endangered Species, but I also have their debut and Hope on the other CD that I have. I like these guys a lot. They were basically a trio of guys who did session work that decided to go into business for themselves. I think they did really well. Their music is best described as progressive, poppy, quirky. Yeah, very quirky, but it has a lot of interesting sound. They're not afraid to experiment, which is the reason I like them so much. The Klaatu, or just Klaatu. Some people refer them as just Klaatu without the in front of them. I'm not going to argue with them. It sounds kind of weird just calling them Klaatu, but they don't ever use the word the, so perhaps that's the way it should be. Next is this artist who came from a band that was fairly big, and I didn't actually mention the band here, so I'll do both at the same time. This is Kim Mitchell. This is Oral Fixation here. An album that I've been listening to a little bit lately. I have about 4 or 5 of his albums. All of them are good. There's no bad stuff by him. He's got a very distinctive voice sound. He's actually quite a good guitar player, too. I never really gave him credit for that when I was growing up, but I think he's pretty damn good. I think of him as being a range of music, ranging from hard rock to pop to progressive rock to party rock, all kinds of different stuffs on his album. Really catchy stuff, too. And, of course, he came from Max Webster, which I'll now mention because I didn't put the CD in here. Max Webster was the band he came from, another great band, often doing touring with Rush, also playing on New Year's Eve at the Gardens with Rush as well. Big here in Canada, just really didn't go outside of Canada too well, and that's perhaps the reason why they're not as big as they should be. Max Webster and Kim Mitchell. Next up is the band that got me to do this show. We're going to go with the Guess Who. I just did this particular album recently, but I got a 5-album box set just recently. I've been listening to it. Such great classic songs on some of these albums. Things like American Woman, No Time, No Sugar Tonight, all on this album, but they have other hits on other albums as well. This is just the most famous. This is the first album to make it number one in the US. And actually, I don't know if the album made number one, but I know the single American Woman made number one. First song in Canadian history to do so in the United States. So far as I know, anyways. Really good. This is the beginnings for Randy Bachman, and of course Burton Cummings as a vocalist too. Is a great combination on this album. Fantastic band, lots of good stuff. Highly recommend it. a band that goes back into the 60s. Next up is a band I also like a lot, Canadian. Had a couple of hits, nothing too big or outstanding, but well known to Canadians. This is the band from out west called Chilliwack. Okay, this is the greatest hits. Got this one. I got the Priestess album as well. This features songs like, where is it? My Girl's Been Gone, Gone, Gone. That was a pretty big hit for them. Of course, Fly at Night, which is their biggest hit, I think. Got some other stuff here. Lonesome Mary, really good. They have a nice vocal harmony sound to their music. I would call this kind of pop, hard rock, Western sound to it as well. So Chilliwack. Next up, this band is kind of both. This one is the band that crosses the divide. Probably more of an American band, but does have a couple of Canadians in the band. So I just wanted to mention Buffalo Springfield, featuring Neil Young, of course, in here, along with Stephen Stills. So you've got some, I think there's 3 American and 2 Canadian guys in the band, or maybe it's 3 and 3, can't remember. So I think it deserves to be mentioned because of the Canadian element. Next up, Randy Bachman's other band. This is Bachman Turner Overdrive. This was the first BTO album I owned, the best of BTO so far. I now have it twice, 2 different versions. The original version, which is this one, has 9 tracks. The other one that I have has like 14 tracks on it. But it's got some of their biggest hits, including "You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet," which is the other song. So Randy Bachman has that distinction of having a number 1 song with 2 different bands in the United States. So doesn't happen very often. I think it might be the only guy who's ever happened to. So this is the greatest hits. It covers stuff from 1973 through to 1976, including "Take It Like a Man" and "Let It Ride," another big track by them, and "Taking Care of Business," probably the biggest and most well-known track by them. Excuse me. My mouth dries out really quickly when I'm talking. So, yeah, really good, strong. All of their albums are great. They don't really have a bad one. Some of the later ones are maybe not as strong as some of the earlier stuff, because they became a little bit more commercial and poppy oriented as they went. I always think of BTO as a heavy, beefy kind of hard rock band. Winnipeg band too, right? Next up, April Wine, "Who What a Night." This is the greatest hits as well. I, at one time, had quite a few of their albums, but they were all in vinyl. This one has a lot of their big hits on it, including "Ooh, What a Night," which was sung by Jim Clench, one of their biggest hits, and it wasn't sung by Miles Goodwin. It was the only the only big hit they had that wasn't sung by him. They also had "Roller," which is another big one. "I Wanna Rock" from Nature of the Beast, of course. "I'm Alive," another good hit. And then there are some other stuff that doesn't show up on here. Some of the stuff from their earlier stuff, which is really catchy, really good. April Wine, hard rock, pop at times, very catchy, very commercial at times, but also very heavy at times too. 3 great guitar players, some great vocals, very established sound. One of the big bands of the early 70s. Often used to be at war with the Guess Who. They were the 2 big ones at that time. Next up's a band that's been around for 40 plus years. Had 1 big hit album right at the beginning, and basically have not done much since, but have continued to put out album after album after album every year with a very similar sound. This is Anvil, their most recent one too. I saw these guys actually, pretty decent in concert. They're committed to their sound. Picture of them here. Very simple sound, though. This is basically a 3-chord progression band, but definitely Canadian sounding, and metal band. Metal band, didn't mention that. Next up, we've got Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond. Neil Young. This is Freedom, one of my favorite albums by him. He's now an American. He immigrated to the States a few years ago, took his papers, and is now an American. But for most of his career, he's been a Canadian icon and legend. Lots of really great albums. Like this, he's got some that are kind of dudish, but for the most part, especially the early stuff, is really good. Really heavy. Really, he seems to have like an acoustic sound and a heavy guitar sound as well at different times. This album is a good representation of both of them. Lots of good stuff on this album. 2 versions of Rockin' in the Free World, the more acoustic version and the heavier, more driving version. This also has The Way of Love, which is really good as well on Broadway, another great track. Don't Cry, El Dorado. Like this is a fantastic album for me. Also Harvest, of course. And there's some other early stuff by him. And there's quite a few albums in which he uses another band as his backup band, and I'm drawing a blank right now because I can't remember the name of the band, which should should not be happening because I've listened to them for so long, right? Anyways, and then the last one I have on here is Bruce Cockburn, Bruce Cockburn. So this is a 2 CD set, but he has a when I was growing up, there were some of his songs that I used to like quite a bit. If I Had a Rocket Launcher, of course, big hit. And Wondering Where the Lions Are. Those are kind of the 2 big ones that I know. But there's lots of other stuff here. He's a very political type of guy and always commenting on wars and stuff like that. But this is a collection that dates from 1970 through to 1987. It's the only thing I have by him. And I thought about getting some of his other stuff too, but you know how it is. You can only buy so many things, and there's so many things you want to get. So some things have to take a back seat for a while, and some of his stuff does. So some of the other bands that I do not have CDs from, which I also like quite a bit, probably of those, Trooper would be the biggest one. I like Trooper a lot. They have a lot of fairly big, well-known tracks. General Hand Grenade, 2 for the Show, Raise a Little Hell are among some of those tracks, but they also have a lot of deep cuts too. Some of their albums are quite, to me, are quite good. And I just don't get enough notoriety. It's been difficult to find stuff from them because they didn't sell a ton of albums, and therefore there ain't a ton of CDs out there to buy, right? Anyways, that's one of the bands. Other bands include bands like Prism, another Western band that I like quite a bit. Their Spaceship Superstar was the song that launched them for me. Also, you got bands like, just went out the door. Have to wait for it to come back in. Red Sands, some of the newer bands that I quite like, and I actually forgot to grab an album that I wanted to put in here, but I'll mention it. A band called Syrinx, which is kind of a tribute to, almost like a Rush. They have quite a bit of a Rush sound to their music, more of the 2112 type Rush as opposed to the later stuff. But got some really good. The guy, one of the lead vocalists, really has a Geddy Lee-like voice. The band is hard driving, some real catchy stuff. I have one of their albums, like I said. The other band that I really like, which is a progressive band called Red Sands. I haven't been able to get the CD yet. Every time I try to order it, it's either way overpriced or it's out of stock. So I'm just hoping that maybe I get the 2 together and I can get like something for a decent price. But anyways, overall, those are my Canadian bands. I'm sure there's others that I've completely forgotten, but that leaves the door open for you to put some in if you wish to as well. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of my first episode of Rock Topics featuring Canadian bands and artists. If you want, you can leave comments in the comments section below. And I'm going to do this show probably once every 2 weeks. I didn't put out this setup here until late on Tuesday, so I'm going to try and put it out a week in advance so people at least know that it's coming. It takes a while to get people to come on. But anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all in 2 weeks for another episode of Rock Topics here on the Prog Monster. Take care. Have yourself a good evening, and goodbye.